Uh, oh, I guess Prime and Rance tried to do the video on the website that didn't happen. Hmm. I gotta really think about the Dirt Carnival logo this year. It's gotta be great. One day, I gotta really do that Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. No, not the return one. No, the 13th Ghost rewrite. Like, really work on that one. Because honestly, I really hate that movie. I really hate that Warner Brothers was like, let's not do the supernatural, even though, we're doing Return of Zombie Island and we're also doing the 13 Ghosts, which were all about the supernatural. Also, Prime, I know you're there, and bro, okay, Prime, yes. The stuff you're doing with a certain historical woman that existed, I can only make it level 2 canon, man. Because we can't, it's canon, but it's only canon until I, like, decide it isn't. So, can it just be self contained? Do you mind it being in another universe? Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, sorry, I can't bring stuff like that into the actual canon. We're not double. We can't, you know, even a little bit. Ah, I'll think about it, man. I'll think about it. But I gotta do this thing. Hmm. Oh yeah, because the professor. Oh yeah. Okay, go do that. I'm sorry for bothering you. No. No problem at all. You wanted to know. I can only make it level 2 canon or level 3, but nothing higher than that. No promises. Anyways, for the rest of you guys, don't worry about the historical figure that Prime's with. I'm not going to explain it. So anyways, here we go. So I have an idea for a pitch of, like, Professor Wood. Sure, I'm writing Professor Wood off and on. And I'm doing it more blooming maidens, like the old story that I wrote goes into Blue Wing Maidens as kind of like a point where um a point where Sally does get her Sally Acorn does get her memory erased. She does become she stays the princess of Moebius and then later the queen because her and Sonic in this timeline don't really get together, but like it's because of the slap and because of that. Because I wanted to see where that would have went. Because yeah, I like Sally and Sonic together, but for the story I'm telling and for the fact that the professor and Sally are were kind of a thing in my stories, I just kind of I had to do something about Sonic. Doesn't mean I hate Sally and Sonic together as a whole. Like every other modern Sonic fan, I'm just like, dude. But Blowing Maidens is kind of like, okay, what if I threw him into an alternate history so you still get to see the history stuff but in a different lens? And what if it's the Taisho era? Yeah, I if you hadn't noticed, I love Sakura Wars. I mean, you seen what I uploaded, the stuff I wrote for the pitch of my Evercade thing for Sakura Wars. So yeah, I would say okay. Most of my stories when it comes to the professor is just him getting something back or trying to reclaim someone again. Not like in a possessive way, but in a, like I need to feel whole again kind of way. So Blooming Maidens is like my Blooming Maidens is like, yeah, my Sakura Wars crossover, and yes, he's only gonna be with the Japanese flower division. Although I can be a little flexible, and he goes to the New York flower division. I haven't even put Orihime in there yet, so I don't know. Like this whole thing with the professor in Orihime might be a thing because I'm starting to think what would that be like because the professor isn't Japanese by any stretch of the imagination, but he would probably be like Orihime. From what I know, your father did love you very much, and they'd have like a tit for tat, and he would probably defend Iris. After Orihime's like, fathers are useless and shit. Because I feel like the professor would be like, just because you have baggage with your father doesn't mean everybody shares your worldview. You should apologize to Iris, but I won't force you. But you did make a child cry, and I will not forget that. I mean, Yanada would probably try to get him, but like the whole premise of Blooming Maidens is that the professor, instead of working for Unit like he kind of does in my other stories, he works with the Flower Division as kind of like their commander. In this timeline, Ogami doesn't really like Ogami does exist. He does work for the Flower Division, but when I can't really say it because we're gonna do another deep dive, and I want to like actually talk about that a little bit more. But what we're gonna do, um, I can't reveal it because it's gonna be talked about in a deep dive. So, so there's that. But yeah, well, let's say a certain, let's say a certain dude wearing a white suit, will be Ogami will be joining that man, Kamiyama, Kamiyama. I think I keep saying his name wrong. But yeah, kind of want him and Ogami, like in the moon, like kind of want him and Ogami in the same kind of division because there's only like so much we know about the moon division, and I just want to go from there. Like I want this not to only be an expanding of like Doctor Who lore because the professor does deal with Doctor Who like villains, and ooh, I may be bringing back the first villains from Sakura Wars in some very different ways. But I haven't really thought about it yet. But we're but I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I'm really gonna go that route. I like my whole thing is like the Blooming Maidens will be kind of okay. Let me get the graphic I made. Hold on. Not entirely in love with the cogs of Cherry Time, but I was like, eh. Because I was trying to figure out what I could fill in the bottom space, and I just like, you know what, cogs of Cherry Time, that's where it kind of came. But yeah, just ignore that in the ignore that little thing at the bottom. But yeah, this series would probably stick to Sakura War villains, remixes of Doctor Who villains, because the Doctor in the Professor What universe had died during the Time War. It's in the Professor What deep dive, but I know not a lot of people watch my deep dive, so yeah. The professor takes over for the Doctor for a indeterminate amount of time. He did, and oh yeah, the professor does save Rose at a point, but it doesn't go further than him just saving Rose. and probably dealing with the stuff that happens in the when Doctor Who comes back and stuff. Because Rose doesn't have the Rose is not really like well she she likes hanging out with the professor, but the professor um I would say the professor and Rose are kind of like cool, but they're not like how she was with the doctor in this timeline. But you know, there's that. Him and Sally do break apart because of the Time Lady stuff. Again, stuff I talked about in the deep stuff I wrote in the deep dive. Um so yeah, he got so one day he gets a call inside the TARDIS and Captain Commander Yanada is like, "Hey, is the professor is the doctor there?" And he's like, "No, but I'm the professor and I will be taking over." You know that sort of thing. Stuff in the deep dive that I will put down because I keep referencing it. But yeah, basically. But really, it would be technically just Sakura Wars characters, remixes of the Doctor Who villains. I would probably throw in I'd probably bring back the Guardian. Because when I wrote the Guardian, he was one of Omega's like experiments that latched on to Zack. When we see his brother Zack in this, because you guys don't know about that. That was like old stuff I wrote when I was doing Professor What related stuff. We probably would. Zack would probably show up from time to time. He'd be like in his own TARDIS, and no. He'd have a vortex manipulator like Jack, and he'd be like, "Oh, I just came because there was a distress call, and well, I'm gonna go." You're probably wondering, is the Brigadier still alive in this timeline? Yes, he is. Because just because Modern Who didn't want to use him doesn't mean I wouldn't. He does kind of feel a certain kind. He did kind of feel a certain kind of way about the professor, because the doctor was gone and the doctor was his friend, and he felt kind of weird. He kind of felt weirded out by it. But when the professor saved him from a Mundazian Cyberman, he changed his tune. You're probably like, okay, that happened, but would this cover how much Sakura Wars stuff would this cover? I'd say it'd be kind of like this would take place after the first Sakura Wars, because I'm starting to think like, yeah, like this is kind of like after maybe Ogami kind of leaves Paris early. I mean, Ogami probably still does go. Probably they do know Ogami. Ogami was kind of like the temporary guy because they were trying to get the doctor and they can't get the doctor because he's dead. So they get the professor, and the professor does have a. And yeah, I know I'm mixing a lot of things here, but okay, guys, how do you like G Gundam? And what would you say if the professor had a Kobu that kind of moved like the Gundams from G Gundam with the same system and everything, but more steampunk? Would any of you like that? Would it would it not be would it not be fucking cool, or would you all not like it? Also, I kind of want to bring it's my way of just bringing Sakura Wars to people's attentions. Because honestly, we got the Sakura Wars retrospective. We got people translating translating the games. I don't know if they're translating the mangas too, but it's my big initiative to push Sakura Wars. Probably next year. I'll be doing a lot, but I really want to push Sakura Wars because I feel like a lot of people need to know about it. And I want this initiative to be done because honestly, I want to get Sega off their asses and actually just port some of the games to port some of the games here. And if not, and if that never works because that's like a pie in the sky kind of dream, at least other people will know about Sakura Wars, and we'll get some good fan content out of that. Not saying I want to be like the head of the Sakura Wars fandom. Not saying I want that, but I want to at least. And if if I make one of you guys, if I make some of you into a Hoovian, that would be a bonus. Now, the professor, I would say, he's kind of like the doctor, but again, he has no qualms of actually killing. He just doesn't do it often unless he really, really has to. Like, there's like no other way. But he will literally fight for the people he cares about because that's just who he is. Would we be seeing Sally in this universe? We'll be seeing Sally again. Okay. Let me just lay it down for you. I wouldn't bring. I'm not. I mean, we will do it. I will do I would do episodes that really talk about the Professor and Sai's relationship because I was really gearing up for a Professor What series. It never really materialized. So I'll be doing video. I'll be doing various deep dive pocket episodes about various storylines between the professor and Sally. So we'll go about it like that. Just so you get like a good you get like a good you get like a good like even you get like a good even bit of the professor and his lore and his backstory and how Sally. But I'm not saying that Sally doesn't appear. It's not, but we're gonna do something for Halloween, and I'm just gonna say it right now. The Sally you're gonna see is not gonna be the Sally from this series, mostly because something fascinated me while I was messing around with the chatbot and basically practicing the professor's various isms, right? I may do this. I may actually have the professor go up against Sally.exe. Because think like Discord hooves, but like the professor, but like unlike that, the professor acts like himself the entire time. He's not like a discorded idiot or a discorded horny idiot. Yeah, I don't really like Discord hooves. Now that I've actually seen the full breadth of it, I'm like, okay, the Doctor fighting monsters all the time makes sense, but him being discorded kind of sucks. You know, like I get it. It's like the worst case scenario, but like Valyard, Octavia, all that shit. No. But we might have the professor fight Sally.exe, and it'll be one of those turning points. That will be like a flashback episode where you get to see like the professor's resolve, and well, you won't get to see it. I'll probably be like narrating it. You get to see the professor's resolve, and well, hear it, and then we'll go from there. Most of the other episodes, like the major ones, I will be like narrating. Yeah, we're making this into an audiobook, even if I gotta fucking narrate it my goddamn self. Because we here at the Big Three Box Network we're more DUI, we're more DIY over here than any other channel, and I do it for the love of the fucking game. All right. No person would willingly do this if they didn't love it. Okay, I'm I'm a guy that doesn't really have to worry about monetary stuff. And you know, I am trying to get the website going for that. But here, I want I want to do this because I just love Sakura Wars. I love the Professor White universe, even though it's like piggybacking off of Doctor Who. Because I feel like the one thing the one thing I feel like Modern Who took away because of Gymnal, and I don't care how all you feel about Gymnal, y'all can hate me for this all you want. But I feel like the Timeless Child took something very important away from the Doctor. Like the Doctor isn't special. He's just a different alien that the Time Lords just said, we need his regenerative energy. I kind of want to do it in a way where anybody can be anybody can be a companion. Anybody can do what the professor does. You know, more than the professor being the doctor being special. I want to bring it back because yes, the professor is a Sand Lord, like a Saiyan and a Time Lord. Yes, but I want to really emphasize that he took up the mantle because no one else would. And he's trying to show even the many Time Lords that really just see him as an abomination that anybody can do what the Doctor does. And that permeates throughout the whole of Blooming Maidens. And you'll see it. But for right now, um I will be dropping some I will be dropping some music. You know how I'm gonna do it. Alright? But again, this is just for fun, folks. This is just a fan project that I want to do just for fun because my original one didn't materialize. So we're just going to do this for fun. And yes, I'm going to do audio shorts again. It's going to be great. Um because I've gotten better at sound mixing and shit. So we're going to kind of do something with that. Some really awesome shit. And I know for some of you, you're probably gonna be like, Bugsy, why are you doing this audiobook style? But I'm like, dudes, I want to get this out here in the world, and I'm doing it the only way I know how. So if no one likes audio dramas, too bad. I'm doing it. There are other videos I'll still be doing that's a lot more visual based. So know that. But for here, we'll be doing Professor What stuff. I can't really tell you when the next deep dive part of this is gonna go, but soon, folks. Because, well, as the professor would say right now, no time like the present, and avante. You shall, you shall see the professor soon. But for now, folks, just wait for a little while, because he is coming, and he will be here soon enough. I shall see you all later. Remember, folks, I don't do spoilers, so I didn't tell you any episodes. I just told you the basic idea from the basic idea of this show, of this little audio show I'm doing. So yeah. Other than that, I think we're good. Oh yeah, and I don't. It's pretty obvious who the professor is kind of gonna go with in Blooming Maidens. Because unlike the doctor, who is kind of like he has been in love before, you actually get to see it with the professor. Because again, he's not the doctor, so I can go with his character any way I want without trying to follow any kind of strict guidelines. The one reason he's not a fan professor before I go He's not a fan doctor because again, you'd still have to follow the guidelines. With the professor being kind of an entity that doesn't have any real strict rules, we could do some cool weird shit with them. But no, but I gotta be honest, no bi generations. I'm not gonna do any bi regenerations. I'm sorry. It would complicate a whole bunch of things if I just had two professors just walking around. Though I will do a multi-professor story where you get to see all the other professors, but not now. That's way in the fucking future. But I'll see you guys later. And I may have my pals actually I may have some of my pals actually voice some of those guys. But we'll see. Right now, I just wanted to tell you that it's here. This is my little pitch, and it's still gonna happen on this channel. This is a fan project just for fun. I'm not doing it for profit. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it for anything. I remember one time this chick by the name of Succubus was like, "Oh, he's doing it for fame and clout or whatever," because I spurned her. But like that's a whole different can of worms. But yeah, I'm not doing this for fame, for glory, for nothing. I'm just a fan. I'm just a fucking fan doing what I love. And if anybody wants to join for this weird little experiment I'm doing, I would love to have you. You know, if you want, I get if you don't because I'm using a lot of what art, so I get it. But if you want to listen to some good shit, let's go. I would love to hear from some of you if you want. Again, no one's making any money off of this. The BBC would whoop my ass if we were making money off of this. Hell, I think Sega would whoop my ass too. So this is just straight up a fan project, a non-profit one. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna do this. I'm probably gonna be the one voicing the characters and using some vocal trickery to kind of make the characters to make more than one character. So I have a deep man voice, so we're gonna kind of do something about that. But later, guys. Peace, everybody. Avante. You shall see the professor later. Bye, folks.